What is going on, guys? So some of you may know that I'm leaving for BOLC soon, which is Basic Officer Leadership Course, specifically Signal BOLC. I'm a signal officer, so I have to go to Signal BOLC. And this whole channel is based on what my experience was like going through basic training and even before basic training. So this video, as I've basically came up real close to the day that I'm going to be leaving for BOLC, I thought that it would be a nice little idea for me to do my experience so far in the process leading up into BOLC. So how I got my orders, when I got my orders, when did I know that I was going to go to BOLC at this specific date. So for those of you who are curious just because you watch my videos, or for those of you who are going to be going to BOLC this upcoming year, this next year, and you're curious, this video is for you. So I'm finally over this whole sickness thing that has just plagued me for the past like 3 or 4 weeks that I haven't been able to do a video. It feels like it's been forever since I've done a video. I did a video recently saying that I kind of got over it, and then it came back like real bad, but I know I'm pretty good right now. I'm good to do this, so I kind of wanted to start back a video for you guys, just something simple, sweet, to the point and everything. So for those of you who are going to BOLC, or you're just curious the whole process and everything on getting your orders and everything for the officer side of things, because it's a little bit different whenever you're enlisted, because when you're enlisted and you're enlisting into the military, you kind of have that recruiter who is holding your hand every step of the way, whereas for officers, it's a little bit different. Now, if you guys didn't know, I am an officer in the Army Reserves, and this same scenario and everything is going to be pretty similar for those of you who are in the National Guard, a little bit similar for active duty. The difference with the active duty, which I'm about to say, is when they tell you you're going to go to BOLC. You're going to have to email basically whoever your branch manager is, and I don't have that. I'm not going to give you guys that email or whatever, but what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to email that branch manager, and you're going to have to let them know when you want to go to BOLC, which is really nice. If you're active duty, you don't really get that luxury. You go whenever they tell you to go, which, I mean, you're active duty at that point, so it doesn't really matter. So like, you could be leaving a month or 2 months after you graduate and commission if you're active duty, or you could leave, several months later. In my case, I chose a date that's a little bit like farther out. It was like 8 months out or something because of my civilian job, and it was a time in which it was it was easiest for me to leave for BOLC because it was kind of like a down period for my civilian job. So that's why I chose to leave in February for BOLC, whereas I could have easily chose to leave in like August, September, October, or something like that. So that's kind of that process. You're gonna have to message or email your branch manager and tell them when you want to leave for BOLC and everything, and then you should get a date back. So now that you've gotten your date for when you're going to leave for BOLC, you're in the reserves or the guard, what you're basically going to be doing is you're going to be drilling monthly until you leave for your date. If you're active duty, you're not going to be doing anything. You're just going to be kind of going about your life and everything. Usually, generally, active duty soldiers, active duty officers want to leave for BOLC quickly because they just don't want that gap period between graduation and leaving for BOLC, because you can't really get a job, or maybe if you already have a job, there's just that whole big predicament around that. But if you're in the Army Reserves, you're going to be drilling monthly like I have been doing ever since I commissioned at your new unit that you're going to get, which that should be decided once you basically get your MOS and your branch and everything. That's a whole nother topic that I've talked about maybe in ROTC and the commissioning process and stuff that I've done a video on in the past. So basically, you're drilling monthly. You're not doing any real communication and stuff with the BOLC people and everything, all those people. You're not really doing anything until about this time where I'm at right now, which I'm about a month out from whenever I'm leaving for BOLC. And what happens is you just want to kind of periodically be checking your .mil email. And then, for example, roughly about a month out, or a little bit more, maybe a month and a half out from your date of when you're supposed to go to BOLC, you should get an email that's going to ask you a bunch of questions about, are you going to be driving to BOLC? Are you going to have to take a flight to BOLC? It's going to ask you, do you have any dependents, things like that. So some basic information for them to get a general idea to then make your orders and print up those orders. And then a couple days later, you should get an actual order, right? So right now I have an order that's, actually right here on the table next to me of my orders to go from where I'm at now to Bulk. And then aside from that, I have about 5 other documents that I need to fill out and then send back, more personal information, things like that, my living situation, all that kind of stuff. Again, do I have any dependents? If so, you know, what's my spouse's social security number, email address, all that kind of stuff. So basically, when it comes time for you to get ready to leave for Bulk, I'm about a month out from Bulk, you're gonna just basically be getting these emails, getting your basic information, you're gonna get your orders, and then once you get those orders, on those orders and the documents that you're gonna get, it's going to tell you when you're going to be going, obviously, to Bulk and when you have to show up and everything. And then the cool thing that I'm kind of glad about is you don't have to really bring that much stuff. It's kind of like just, you know, make sure you bring your uniforms and everything. Once you get there, they said that you're going to be, you know, doing a layout and everything of what you have, which is generally what you do every time you go to a new place in the military. You're going to do a layout of everything that you have, and then what you don't have issued is supposed to be get issued to you. You're going to get your TA-50 and all that stuff issued to you whenever we get there. I'm kind of not looking forward to that because that's a really boring process. But basically, until then, all I've got to do is send back these papers. I know the exact time and place on when I need to show up whenever I arrive at Bullock, and I am personally driving because it's not a far distance. Now, as far as classes and stuff goes, for me, they send us a thing that we have to sign up for Blackboard, so that's maybe a little information if you're going to Bullock at some point in the future. Maybe you're curious, you know, we got to pre-register on Blackboard. So I'm assuming we're going to be doing a bunch of this online course stuff in Blackboard, which is kind of like a college-related thing. So I'm kind of curious about that, and you guys can kind of stay tuned on the channel for more information about Bullock. If you're curious about going the officer route, I'm gonna definitely for sure give you guys all the details, all the ins and outs of Bullock and kind of what we're doing, you know, as far as living and everything goes. As far as I know right now, from what I've heard, is I'm going to be living in an on-base hotel, which is actually pretty nice, right? I don't know if I'm gonna have any roommates or anything, but you guys will be definitely the first to know, especially if you're going to Signal Bullock. You know, I think that my future videos will be actually really beneficial for you guys, but you know, Bullock in general, I think is pretty similar as far as your freedoms and everything that you can do in the living situation. It's not like enlisted going to basic training. It's not like when you're enlisted going to AIT. Bullock is completely different. It's a completely different beast, but it's not even really a beast. It's just like, it's like a tame beast. It's like a little pet or something compared to basic training. But basic training is actually more closely compared to advanced camp, and advanced camp's just a month long or whatever, but that's just that little comparison there. Bullock is more compared to AIT in my opinion, but Bullock, you got a lot more freedoms. Personally, I get to have my car, which is freaking amazing. All right, so that is basically it for my process leading up to Bullock, my experience thus far. You know, basically right whenever I got commissioned, I got my MOS, I got my branch and everything, and then I selected my date that I wanted to leave. And then now that I'm about a month and a half out of leaving for Bullock, you're gonna be getting all these emails and stuff that you gotta be, you know, checking on. So you don't wanna wait until you just, I don't know, leave for Bullock to call and ask questions. If you haven't gotten an email a month out from your Bullock date, I would definitely email your branch manager and, you know, see what the heck is going on, see if you're missing something, see if anything has changed, if your Bullock date has changed, because I'm sure maybe that's possible. So yeah, that is it for me in this video. I am excited to be back. I'm excited to actually be able to talk to you guys and do stuff. So obviously there will be some live streams coming up here soon. I'm excited to do that, excited to sit down and do a live stream with you guys for about an hour or so. So if you want to, you know, see that, make sure you hit the notification bell button and everything. But if you made it to this video, hit that like button. That would be awesome. If you're just looking for more of my videos, hit the subscribe button. That would be freaking amazing, especially if you're, you know, wanting to go to Bullock. I'm definitely gonna be making a lot more videos on that in the future because it's gonna be the training that I'm literally going through in the next couple of months. So stay tuned for that, you know, by hitting the subscribe button, notification bell button, follow me on Instagram and Snapchat if you haven't already. I hope you guys have an amazing freaking day, and I'll see you later.